What is going on, Dodger fans? Thank you all for tuning in to a live trade deadline edition of the Incline Dodgers podcast presented by Tick and Fansided. It's Kevin Klein. It's Jake Reiner. We are 30 minutes away till the 2025 MLB Trade Deadline wraps up. And despite some early indications from a lot of insiders that it might not be an active deadline, it's actually been quite the opposite. There has been a flurry of moves. We'll talk about a number of the trades that have gone down. Early on, it looks like the big winners today are the San Diego Padres in the National League and the Houston Astros in the American League. But there is still a little bit more time. And what we know with the Dodgers, they like to make things done at the very end. We've had some historical trades come through after the buzzer went off. I'm thinking back to when Manny Ramirez was announced he was going to the Dodgers. Yu Darvish traded to the Dodgers. And even last year, Jack Flaherty was at the deadline. Let's get your thoughts, Jake. How you doing? What's going on?
Well, I think the first thought is that this has kind of been an underwhelming trade deadline for the Dodgers, but it's not the worst trade deadline they've ever had. I think that they picked up some pieces that could help. And they definitely needed a reliever. They definitely needed an outfielder, just maybe not the reliever and outfielder that you wanted in Brock Stewart and Alex Call. Remains to be seen what they will contribute to this team or not. But honestly, I'm okay with it given their abilities, what they've done so far this year, and the specific need that the Dodgers are acquiring them for. So I like the moves, but I'm not blown away by it. Certainly when you see all the moves that the Padres are doing, it certainly is a little stressful when you think about the lack of moves that the Dodgers have done. I mean, the Padres are always super active. They're always trying to take out the Dodgers, and that's what they've tried to do today. And honestly, they've won the day so far. So, but there are still moves to be made. I mean, we have a half an hour left. That is a long time to make some trades. And I'm just seeing now that Ken Rosenthal reporting Merrill Kelly from the Diamondbacks. He's going to the Rangers for 3 prospects. So there's a lot of things still going on right now.
Wow. So even the Rangers are making better moves so far than the Dodgers today. I got to be honest, Brock Stewart, I'm very underwhelmed. I was not a fan of him the first go around. I'm certainly not going to be a fan of him the second go around. All the advanced metrics indicate that he's actually been a really good pitcher. Even the fastball run value is a +8. His expected ERA is a 2.25. His expected batting average against is 183. He can throw a fastball in the velocity range anywhere between 96 miles per hour to 99 at times. So he's got good swing and miss stuff as well. My issue is he's never had a good track record of staying healthy. 28 games in 2023, 16 games in 2024, and 39 games up to this point in 2025. So how much of Brock Stewart are we really going to get before he breaks down?
It remains to be seen, but if he can remain healthy for less than half a season in the playoffs, then I'd say it's a win. He absolutely dominates right-handed pitching, which is something the Dodgers desperately were in need of, a reliever that can do that. And obviously, if they don't make any more moves between now and the deadline, it just kind of signals the fact that they trust the guys that they have, which is kind of shaky, because once Tanner Scott comes back, what's he going to be like? And that was kind of the scariest thing to me looking at this Dodgers roster, because if Tanner Scott does not come back and does not dominate like we know he can, then the Dodgers are kind of left without a closer. And now they're working with this closer by committee, which can work, but would like to have a guy that would be able to close games for this team on a consistent basis. That does worry me, but certainly they needed a good reliever, and Brock Stewart is a good reliever. And he has an ERA under 3 this year as a reliever for the Twins. Boy, the Twins are getting rid of their entire roster, it seems, at this point.
Twins were trading all the relievers, and I'm just disappointed that we couldn't get Griffin Jacks. We couldn't get Duran, which I wasn't expecting, and we couldn't get who was the other one that we were linked to? Anyways, it doesn't matter. Brock Stewart Here's a huge question. Can he actually pitch well away from Minnesota? At home this season, he had an 0.56 ERA, but on the road, he had a 4 ERA with a 1.3 whip. So what version of Brock Stewart are we going to get? To me, he's a bigger wild card than the stats really indicate. You mentioned he has a good ERA this season, but last season he had an ERA over 5. The guy is a very volatile. There's a wide range of outcomes with what we're going to get. Now, fortunately, the Dodgers didn't have to give up much at all to get him. They only had to give up James Outman, and the writing was on the wall for James Outman all season. He was not going to survive past this season in a Dodgers uniform anyways. And I think part of the reason he was up recently may have been a showcase for the Twins, because they did just play the Twins, and now he's off to Minnesota. And he made that nice catch off preventing potentially a double or even a home run for Carlos Correa. Maybe the Twins like that after knowing they were going to flip Harrison Bader at this deadline anyways. So you didn't have to give up much, but at the same time, with the mess that has been Tanner Scott this season, Kirby Yates as well, I just don't know if this is the high leverage arm that's going to be our savior.
No, I don't think so either. It feels like a good complementary piece, but not something that you can really hang your hat on as something that is going to make a huge difference for this team. But I mean, he's been good. And essentially, we'll get into Alex Call in a minute, but essentially what they did was they swapped James Outman for Alex Call, and I think upgraded in the outfield, if you really want to take a look at it, because Alex Call is a really good hitter against left-handed pitching, and he's an above average defender. So I think that what they did was they kind of improved on the margins and just trusted that their main major league roster is A, going to get healthy, and B, a lot of these players hopefully will get out of the slumps that they're in, and the Dodgers can put together a nice October run. The problem this year, though, is that there are so many teams that are in contention, much more than in recent years, where you have the Mariners, who did a lot at this deadline. They've improved. The Astros have improved. The Mets have improved. The Cubs are good. The Brewers have the Dodgers number. Now the Padres are right behind the Dodgers in the division. They improved a lot. So there is a lot of talent being moved around at this deadline that has made these strong teams even stronger. So it does worry me that the Dodgers haven't made sort of that power play move that they typically make, but we'll see if it changes between now and then.
I still think they're going to cook something and pull it out right when the deadline expires. But right now, I'm just so underwhelmed. I'm ready to put this in the category of bottom tier deadlines that we've seen in the Friedman regime. But Alex Call, really boring pickup in my opinion. I don't think he adds anything to this Dodgers team at all. He is
really nothing.
He's basically an average to below average defender. He doesn't hit for power. He's a good contact hitter, but that's about it. He's going to ride the bench in October. I just don't see him getting any meaningful playing time at all.
Sure. I mean, I hear the October piece, but to say that he isn't a good pickup, I think is not accurate totally, because he is an above average outfielder and has above average arm strength. He gets on base a lot. He has a 371 on base percentage, and he crushes left-handed pitching. He doesn't chase. He doesn't swing and miss a lot. He's in the, according to Baseball Savant, in the upper echelon in those categories. So I think he is a decent player that they've picked up. And honestly, the Dodgers have been an absolute train wreck on defense lately. So having a guy that can upgrade your defense in the outfield is huge, because if they're planning on playing Conforto and Teoscar Hernandez at the same time, that's kind of a disaster defensively. And that's something that I want to get into at some point, where I'm really worried. We talk about the bullpen, talk about the offense or whatever, but I am very worried about this defense.
The defense is a concern, and I don't think Alex Call is going to really add anything, because I don't think he's going to play that much, to be honest. I mean, he was struggling to be in the lineup every day on a mediocre Nationals team. Now, all of a sudden, he's going to the Dodgers. we didn't really give up. We didn't really have to give up anything of substance to get him. I know they gave up a couple top pitching prospects, but they weren't the main guys that we were going to bank on anyways. Eric Swan and Sean Paul Linia are going to DC. I was curious how Call does with runners in scoring position, since I want to see what his clutch abilities are. He's actually been better than I expected. So 50 at bats, it looks like 320 batting average, 771 OPS. So, okay, he's got some clutch to him, but again, very boring pickup in my.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think, like you said, I don't foresee him getting a lot of playing time. It sounds like a strict platoon kind of bat where if they want to get Michael Conforto out of the lineup, they can insert him in there and he can, be a serviceable option. Obviously not the outfield presence or bat that the Dodgers, I think, needed. And I think what Conforto did in these past couple of weeks leading up to the deadline has maybe given the Dodgers front office a false sense of security that they can trust him. And I don't know. I can't really trust that guy. I mean, yeah, he's hit a lot better, but his defense is still horrific.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think Michael Conforto, D'Angelo Russelled his way into staying on this team for the rest of the season because he had a couple hot weeks. So now, unfortunately, the Dodgers don't feel the need to go after a meaningful outfielder. And so they just played around the margins here and did the bare minimum. In the meantime, let's talk about some of the other teams and kind of where we view them now in terms of maybe threats to the Dodgers. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Hit that like button. If you've got questions for us, we could maybe take some questions as well. But for me, I think there isn't really a debate. The National League winner at this moment in time for the deadline has to be the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the moves that they made to get Mason Miller and a bunch of the bats that they got. I mean, it is clear that they have won the deadline, but that happens a lot. That's happened a few times in our lifetime, and the Padres have yet to advance past the NLCS, which they only got there once. So remains to be seen how these moves shake out for the Padres.
With the fact that the Orioles trade involving Ramon Laureano and Ryan O'Hearn hasn't officially been announced yet in terms of all the players being involved, based off what John Heyman was saying and I think Mark Feinsand, Dylan Cease could still be on the move. So if Dylan Cease does get traded out of the San Diego Padres rotation, I think that's actually a huge step backwards for San Diego. So it's like, yeah, you added one of the best relievers in baseball, but now your starting rotation looks a lot thinner. So we'll see what happens on that front. I'm sure we'll have that news within the next half hour. O'Hearn's a great addition for the Padres. He was an all-star this season. Laureano, I don't really buy into him. I think he's having a good first half so far, but he has used PEDs, so he'll get along with Fernando Tatis Jr. quite well, and they'll have that in common. And maybe Jerkson Profar was in the same little cheating scandal that all those guys once linked up with. But yeah, I don't think the Padres lineup, like if these were the moves they were going to make, I'm fine with that. I think it's not intimidating at all. I would have been more nervous if they traded for even Luis Robert Jr. over those guys, or if they had pulled off a big trade and got Stephen Kwan. It doesn't sound like Stephen Kwan is getting traded either. So I can live with these additions. I don't think I'm concerned.
Yeah, I the only thing is that it just like with any big trade deadline, it's like it remains to be seen what these guys will pan out to do, and the Padres are going to be good and contenders regardless of what they did at the deadline. But all that matters is what happens in October. So we'll have to see. I mean, it like I mentioned at the top, like there are so many good teams now, and teams have gotten so much better as a result of this deadline that the competition has never been tougher. So it is going to be tough for any team to get out of the National League.
Definitely. And I feel like fortunately none of these teams in the National League made a big swing where all of a sudden they really leapfrogged the Dodgers. So I don't think we really need to worry about the Dodgers all of a sudden losing ground. Like the Cubs got a little better. They added Willie Castro. They added Soroka, who I don't think is going to move the needle much. The Phillies, they added Duran, which is a huge addition to their bullpen. But the lineup is going to be about the same. Harrison Bader doesn't really move the needle. The Padres, Mason Miller, huge addition to the bullpen. O'Hearn is a nice fit, but that starting rotation can be had still, in my opinion. Giants appear to be sellers, or at least have given up. The Brewers, who you mentioned owned us, they haven't made a deadline move. So the Brewers are going to be the Brewers. So the Dodgers are in a good spot. Even if they don't make another move today, I would still declare them the favorites to win the National League.
Yeah, I think honestly, like it all plays out on the field, and the Dodgers are still the number one team, and they're still leading the NL West. So you gotta you have to go with them. And honestly, you look at the talent that they already have and the talent that's coming back from the injured list. And we were jazzed about this roster coming into this season for a reason. I mean, the names that they've assembled, the re-signings that they made, I felt like this roster was one of the best assembled in spring training. Unfortunately, it hasn't been fully realized, even though the Dodgers have been good. It hasn't been fully realized. The bullpen has been an absolute disaster. The defense has been a disaster, and still they are one of the top teams in Major League Baseball. So that just shows you the foundation of this team is so good that even when they have their, star players not playing up to their standards, or the starting rotation being injured, or the bullpen being an absolute disaster, they still maintain success. And so I think that's what they're thinking. I think that's what the Dodgers are thinking, is that Tanner Scott's not going to be this bad for the rest of the season. They certainly paid him enough money to basically tell him, figure it out, buddy, and figure out how to be an elite bullpen arm. Hopefully Kopech comes back. Hopefully Trinan rounds into shape. And Brock Stewart is a good addition. I'm really hoping that Kirby Yates turns it around. My problem is that resting on these sort of quote unquote laurels is that you're trusting a lot of guys that haven't shown you that you can trust them. So that's my only drawback. But the Dodgers seem pretty confident in the roster that they have right now.
The best trade that we made during this whole deadline season didn't even happen today. Happened yesterday, and it's not even going to really help us for this season. But I think trading Hunter Fiducia to the Tampa Bay Rays was the best move the Dodgers made. One, Fiducia is an MLB player, and he deserves to be in the lineup somewhere. So he might be starting against us tomorrow. Who knows? Now that the Dodgers are playing the Rays, but I think the return that we got. Oh man, it's breaking news.
Breaking news.
I don't know why the Padres just did that, but anyways. The prospects that they got back for Fiducia are nice. I mean, they got a 6'10" relief pitcher in Paul Gervasi, and then they also got a pretty good lefty in Adam Sorowanowski. So not immediate helpful players, but definitely helps beef up the farm a little bit.
Breaking news, Red Sox are acquiring Dustin May.
Oh, that was not the direction I was going to go. Okay, well,
I just saw it.
But I was actually looking at Padres have acquired Nestor Cortez.
Hilarious. But bigger news. Yes. Dustin May going to the Red Sox. What does that mean? Who are we getting?
Jeff Passan and Joel Sherman and John Heyman. Okay, so not surprised. I think I've talked about it a number of times now that Dustin May was not going to be a long-term fit for the Dodgers. He just doesn't fit in the rotation anymore. And honestly, he's kind of pitched his way out of the Dodgers rotation. Can you put him in the bullpen? Probably not with all your healthy arms. Sheehan is going to be a reliever in October. Kershaw, whether you want to accept it or not, is going to be a reliever in some capacity for the Dodgers in October. Ben Kasparius is another guy who will be able to flex and pitch multiple innings in October. And if they really want to go this direction, they can make Justin Robleski pitch multiple innings in October. So there just really wasn't room for Dustin May when you factor in all their normal high leverage guys. They had to move him. So let's hope we get something of value right now for Dustin May that can help us win in 2025.
Yeah, I really hope it's not just prospects. Like, I really hope we can get something, some sort of major league ready talent. Besides, is there anybody else on that roster that you'd want besides Duran that would make sense? I mean, I don't think it's going to be him.
Bring me Jarren Duran, baby. No, I don't know of the guys that they'd be willing to trade. Like, I don't know his value. Like Willie Abreu, is he too team controlled, or Rob Refsnyder? Those are like, or Yoshida. We going more Japanese? Like we'll find out.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm just worried that it's just going to be prospects that won't help us.
Yeah, I mean, you very well might be right. It's hard to speculate because I didn't expect the Dodgers and Red Sox to be trading today. I thought Dustin May was going to the Yankees, funny enough.
I know. I was hoping that he would and that they would surprise us with a Cody Bellinger return, but that was obviously wishful thinking.
Yeah, you wanted Bellinger. I wanted Grisham. Now we wait and see.
Yeah, I wanted a star I don't know if Grisham's star caliber, but I wanted definitely a starting caliber outfielder with plus defense that could be an impact bat in this lineup. That's what I really wanted.
All right. Well, since we kind of have to stall for time, what is going to be your memory or the legacy of Dustin May?
A guy that had plus stuff and really, nasty pitches with great movement that obviously could not stay on the field at all. And when he went down a few years ago, I remember in May, he was pitching really well, and then he went down with a bad injury, and that was kind of it for him. And now that he's made the comeback, I was really encouraged by the fact that he was a stable starting pitcher, I would say, at the very least. I mean, he took the ball every fifth day and gave the Dodgers length at times. It's just unfortunate that he didn't always have command. And when he was forced to bring the ball in the zone, he got hit pretty hard. So yeah, I mean, I'm certainly I could entertain the word bust for Dustin May as an assessment, because he did have a lot of hype and it never really came to fruition. But maybe he turns it around and becomes something with the Red Sox.
Yeah, I don't think Dustin May is a bust, but he's probably one of the biggest what ifs in recent Dodgers memory. When he was on the mound and healthy prior to really the first Tommy John surgery, the guy looked like he had the making of being a borderline number 2 or number 3 in the Dodgers rotation. He figured it out to start to generate some swings and misses, because I know that was kind of one of the biggest ailments in his game that he initially lacked. He just wasn't getting strikeout stuff. Then early on in 2021, he started to strike out guys, and then unfortunately got the Tommy John surgery like May 1st or early May in Milwaukee. I vividly remember that. And then he just really wasn't the same after that, unfortunately. The second injury, then the esophagus tear after he ate a salad, and then was finally able to have a healthy season this year for the Dodgers. But I think the damage had already been done. He just wasn't the same pitcher. But 2020, maybe my biggest memory of Dustin May, Kershaw was supposed to start opening day. He got scratched last second. Dustin May took over. He was the starter, and they beat the San Francisco Giants, and 2020 got started on a good note.
Yep. Unfortunate. I'm hoping we get something for him, because that would suck if it was just like, here you go, Red Sox, because I just don't believe in trading pitching depth at this point. I think the Dodgers are so injured and so strapped for, good arms that are available. I was hoping that the Dodgers, if they didn't trade Dustin May, would put him in the bullpen and have him turn himself into some kind of fireman or whatever role, because the Dodgers desperately needed more bullpen depth. So if they don't end up getting major league ready talent. I don't really know what the point of this was.
Let me ask you this. Let's say hypothetically in every start that they give Alex Freeland, he gets 1 or 2 base hits and it looks like he's got a great swing. And so that begs the question, once Max Muncy comes back, what do you do with Alex Freeland? I know I'm jumping ahead here, but what if he just is off to a tremendous start and looks like he's a spark plug in the lineup? Obviously, you have to have Max Muncy at third, but what would you do with Freeland then?
I mean, what I would do with Freeland is what they're not going to do, which is put him at shortstop and move Mookie Betts back to a position that he's supposed to be playing, which is right field. Right. That's what I would do. But they're not going to do that. So I don't know what you do with him at that point. You got to send him back down, I guess.
That's going to be so frustrating if that's the case. I think the Dodgers are going to need to find that X factor now with the injury to Kim. I don't think it's a light injury. I think it's going to be kind of severe because it's a shoulder injury. I have some concerns about Tommy Edman's health. He needs to be playing at a more consistent level. And then the bench overall, Kike Hernandez, who knows how long he's going to be out. He's dealing with some injuries too. So they need to find something, or someone needs to step up.
Yep, I agree. There's going to be a logjam at some point because you're not going to not put Max Muncy in the lineup. He's going to be in the lineup and he's going to be playing third base. It's just so unfortunate that they've kind of pigeonholed themselves by having Mookie Betts play shortstop for, again, no reason whatsoever. Still don't know the reason, despite how good he's been as a shortstop. I still don't get it. It just makes me mad.
Wait, hold up. Dustin May's last start was against the Red Sox, right?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Go figure. So I guess Boston liked what they saw, and they pulled the trigger to bring in Dustin May. We've got 2 minutes until the deadline, so there's a little bit of hope. Dennis Gonzalez, Jake, who would you want to see Mookie get time at second base?
Or would you want to see Mookie get time at second base?
I cannot read. Would you an idiot?
Yeah, sure. If it means that Alex Freeland is going to be in the lineup somewhere, if he pans out, I mean, if he doesn't, if he's not good, then if he's not good offensively, then I don't see the point. But I mean, I would love to see a world where the Dodgers move Mookie Betts either to second base or right field, and they throw Edman out in center field, and they put Pages and Teo at the corners and bench Conforto, and just have Conforto be an expensive bench piece. That's what I would do, because it not only upgrades offensively, but more importantly, it upgrades defensively, and that's a big issue.
No Name saying putting Mookie at short was the worst decision in Dodger history. I don't think I could go that far. I think maybe one of the worst decisions in recent Dodgers history is starting Yu Darvish in the World Series Game 7, especially when he didn't want to take the ball and they gave him the ball anyways, and he coughed up a lead early, or he put them in a deficit early on and the Dodgers never recovered. That might be worse.
Yeah, that might be worse. I'm seeing that the Twins are still trying to deal Joe Ryan. Is that a guy we want? I don't know.
He's an elite starting pitcher. I don't know if the Dodgers are going down that avenue.
Yeah, they've said that they're not going after starting pitching, but I wish that they would tell us what the Dustin May return is.
We'll find out. We'll find out soon.
I imagine that they're probably going over some medical stuff, because that was the holdup with Brock Stewart.
God, now I'm pissed.
What happened?
Yankees just acquired Camilo Duvall. So they got Duvall and Bednar today. So how come the Yankees can go all out for their bullpen, the Mets can go all out for their bullpen, but we couldn't do squat? We got Brock Stewart.
I don't know if it's just Friedman being stubborn and just saying, you know what, I got you Tanner Scott and Kirby Yates, and that should be enough for the offseason. And the fact that neither of them have panned out so far is not on him. And he believes that they're going to turn themselves around at some point, because that's the only logical explanation I can come to, that they didn't want to go after an elite reliever. Also, they didn't want to give up our top prospects. They're going to hold on to them. The Dodgers are kind of notorious for holding on to their top prospects. So that's, it's kind of annoying, but the Dodgers weren't going to get Camilo Doval anyway, but I agree. I feel like they should have definitely gotten someone better than Brock Stewart.
Yeah. Trolley Dodgers, there's no excuses, Klein. Friedman was absolutely pathetic. I'm not going to go that far because he did ball out in the offseason, but it's really hard to give Friedman a pass when you're seeing all these relievers being shopped around and shipped off for, honestly, costs that didn't really make me move that much. I feel like a lot of these trades, like outside of all right, we got more breaking news.
What happened?
Anyways, Tampa Bay Rays are acquiring Griffin Jacks. The Tampa Bay Rays. I thought the Tampa Bay Rays were sellers.
I know, because they just traded their shortstop to the Yankees.
So they can get Griffin Jacks, but we can't. We get Brock Stewart. Come on. This is some BS.
Griffin Jacks, he probably has some years of control, I would imagine.
And the other guy I was blanking on, he just went to the Blue Jays, Louis Varland. I didn't want him anyways because Gus Varland stunk, and I don't want his sibling, but that was the other Twins reliever the Dodgers were linked to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm annoyed, honestly. Like, we've got all these prospects. They're not going to play them. So then what good are they? They're going to turn 30 and then rot away, and they'll just end up like Landon Knack and be useless.
Yeah, I don't really understand why the Dodgers are why they prospect hoard, because it gets to a point where what are they holding on to them for? I mean, like if you take Dalton Rushing, for example, like what is their plan with him?
That's a good point.
Like, what is their plan with him? He's going to be a backup catcher. The guy has starting level stuff if he gets the opportunity, but they signed Will Smith to a 10-year extension, and that's that. So is there are they going to move him to a different position? They're not going to put him at third base if Max Muncy's there. Freddie Freeman's at first. What are they going to put him in the outfield? I don't know. I mean, it happens a lot with this team where they just have these guys where there's just nowhere to put them. And of course, it's like, of course they've put Mookie Betts at short so that you can't even say, okay, Alex Freeland, let's see what you got, because shortstop's open. So there's a log jam there. I mean,
if the Dodgers are committed to Dalton Rushing being their backup catcher, then that's a huge opportunity cost. If they are going to plan to put him at a different position in a year or two, if something opens up, I get it. That makes more sense to me. But if they're really going to make his legacy with the Dodgers the backup catcher, then we're wasting everyone's goddamn time, because you could have flipped Dalton Rushing last year for Garrett Crochet, but they didn't want to trade Dalton Rushing for Garrett Crochet. And now then this year, they probably could have flipped Dalton Rushing for maybe even Stephen Kwan or someone on the Guardians, Cade Smith, for example. And again, they're having cold feet, and they're going to hold on to a backup catcher that probably won't play much in the playoffs.
I just don't understand how I've never seen, again, this, I could be wrong, but I've never seen this many like high leverage relievers traded, and the Dodgers didn't get one of them. I don't understand that. I don't get that. I mean, hopefully Brock Stewart is good, but that doesn't seem like a move. It's like the Dodgers had a huge need here. Yeah. There was a huge need for a high leverage arm, but really a closer. And we're just not going to get that. I don't understand. I mean, again, like, I don't hate the moves that they did, but I don't know if it was enough.
Giving it a few more minutes before I unleash potentially, but yeah, I'm underwhelmed. The Mets had a good deadline. They got multiple relievers. They got Ryan Helsley, who I thought was the best fit for the Dodgers given all the circumstances, and they didn't even give up that much to get Ryan Helsley. So that, again, pointing the finger at Friedman. What are you doing here, bro? I didn't expect the Giants to trade us Tyler Rogers, or I didn't expect the Giants to trade us Tyler Rogers, who ended up on the Mets as well. But again, he's actually been a really good reliever, despite him being a submarine guy. He goes to the Mets. I believe Cedric Mullins also got traded to the Mets. So the Mets obviously got better after this trade deadline. And then the Astros were I don't know if Dylan Cease got moved or not. That was like the big talk the last half hour. But obviously they got better. They got Carlos Correa now to play third base. They've got Arias from Baltimore. They added some pitching as well. So Houston looks like they got better. All the teams I hate getting better. Unfortunate.
Yeah, the Griffin Jacks to the Rays is a strange choice.
We just got our return.
Oh God, what is it?
James Tibbs III.
Oh God,
who is that?
I knew it. I just knew it was going to be some minimal return for that. James Tibbs. Who is that?
He's born in 2002. He's 22. He's an American professional outfielder in the Red Sox organization. He was drafted by the Giants with the 13th overall pick.
He's a minor league outfielder?
Okay, so this is all going to tie together. Yeah, he's a minor league outfielder. He was drafted 13th overall last year in the 2024 MLB draft. He was traded from the Giants this year to the Red Sox in the Rafael Devers trade.
Interesting.
So he goes from Giants to Boston to the Dodgers within 1 year now. So I don't know. He's 22. He's in high A right now. So he's not going to help us this year.
I knew it. I knew they weren't getting anybody major league ready.
How many outfielders do we need?
I mean, apparently a lot. If they're not planning on putting Mookie out there,
they wouldn't trade any of these prospects for a relief pitcher, and now they're just adding more prospect outfielders. So they got Hope, JDP, Quintero, Sirota, and this guy Tibbs III.
Leave it to the Dodgers to buy and sell at the trade deadline all at once, and not really buy anyway, and not really buy that much.
This is just ridiculous. Well, I think that's it. I guess I don't think there's any other moves coming.
I mean, it is a nice outfield prospect. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but I don't care about prospects at this point.
I know. I mean, here's the thing. It's like, especially the Dodgers are planning on trying to repeat, and the fact that they just won a World Series and there hasn't been a repeat champion since the Yankees did it. I feel like this was the deadline that they needed to go a little bit more aggressively than to be conservative. I'm sorry, but like that is something that they should have really prioritized, and they didn't. And they stood pat, essentially. I mean, they got some upgrades a little bit, but not really what they ultimately needed.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's it. So I'm going to lay out the take right now. This is easily the worst Dodgers trade deadline under the Andrew Friedman era. Like, we got nothing today. 2023 was bad, but at least in 2023, we got Kike Hernandez, who helped us. I don't see any of these guys helping us. I really just don't. I hope I'm wrong, but I just don't. I don't buy these guys at all.
You don't think that Brock Stewart could be a useful reliever for us?
I don't. I think he's going to blow up.
It's funny to me because you were so high on Michael Kopech, and it ended up turning out well for us last year. Not so much this year because he's been hurt, which has been annoying. But you were so high on Michael Kopech, and his numbers were horrific, like really bad. And I just feel like Brock Stewart, he wasn't great with us the first time around, and he took a little bit to come into his own, but he's having a good season. I mean, he's having a really good season.
I don't care. Let me fill you in on how my mind works. So when I'm looking at these relievers that even if they're having a bad season, a couple things that I look at to kind of evaluate whether they're going to work out or not is, number one, the pedigree. Michael Kopech was a top prospect and he had the stuff. He just wasn't in the right situation. Another example is Chris Martin. A lot of people doubted us or doubted the Chris Martin move, but the guy was in a number of postseasons and had pitched in the big moment. Brock Stewart has none of that. He didn't have the pedigree. He wasn't a top prospect. He was awful with his tenure with the Dodgers. I don't think he's ever been on a winning team in his life, and I don't think he has any postseason experience. I don't think he's pitched much high leverage in Minnesota either this year. I'm just not buying it at all. I think the pressure is going to get to him, and when he gets out of little Minnesota, he's going to be exposed.
Okay, I hope you're wrong, but
I hope I'm wrong too. But I just don't see it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Same with Alex Call. I don't get that one either. I don't need some 30-year-old journeyman outfielder.
Damn it. Really? Like there were so many fucking huge trades today. We were involved in none of them.
We couldn't even get Pete Fairbanks.
I mean, come on.
How did the Rays buy more today than the Dodgers? What world am I living in? Talk about buying and selling at the same time. That's exactly what the Tampa Bay Rays were able to pull off today. So yeah, giving this deadline an F. Like, I'm sorry.
No, not an F. It's not an F, Kevin.
It's got to be an F.
No, it's not an F. The reason it's not an F is because they didn't part ways with their top prospects.
Dustin May, I would have trusted more in the Brock Stewart role than Brock Stewart. I'm actually pissed off now that I think about it. Like, what the hell?
They did improve marginally. You can't give it an F. I'll give it, you know what? I'll give it a D. I'll give it a D or even a C- at this point.
So not much better.
No, but to say it's a complete failure is not, I don't think it's accurate
today. That's not supposed to happen. Dustin May is better than Brock Stewart. And honestly, I don't think Alex Call is going to be much better than James Outman.
You hated both Outman and May. You hated those guys.
I did hate them, but I also don't like Brock Stewart. And at least Dustin May has pitched in the postseason. Brock Stewart has pitched in the AL Central.
Well, I hope Brock Stewart shoves it up your ass. That's what I hope.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Ugh.
Even the Royals are buying more than us. They just got Mike Yastrzemski. I would have rather taken him than Alex Call, whoever the hell he is.
A lot of people are saying how amazing this Tibbs guy is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's great for the future, but I don't care about the future. I care about now. And I didn't want a right field. I didn't want a right-handed bat. I wanted a left-handed bat that could challenge Conforto. So we didn't do that either.
I'm telling you, what Conforto has done at the plate really changed the minds of the Dodgers. And they're stubborn too, because they paid him $17 million this year, and to move off him is to admit failure. Similarly with Mookie Betts, it's like they have gone hook, line, and sinker for him at shortstop, and to move him off shortstop would be to admit failure. Similarly, Tanner Scott, Kirby Yates, that's admitting failure too. And they're just stubborn like that.
How come they are okay keeping him, but they had no problem getting rid of James Paxton last year, and they paid him a nice salary?
I mean, yeah, yeah, you're right about Paxton.
Anyways,
how much did they pay for him, Paxton?
It was like barely over 10 million.
Yeah, I mean that's not 17 million, and it's definitely not what they committed to Tanner Scott.
Tanner Scott, I mean, we're not giving up on Tanner Scott. I don't know if he should be the closer, but I don't know if he.
No, I'm not giving up on him either, but he's been pretty terrible.
He's been bad. He can turn it around. Obviously, Kirby Yates, he's going to need to turn it around. Blake Trinan, he just needs to stay healthy. And then let's hope Michael Kopech comes back, Gratterall comes back, and then we can have the whole little consolation cheerleader moment of, oh, it's like we acquired these guys at the deadline because they're healthy now.
Yeah.
Another one of my other pet peeves, because it's all just,
if you ask that guy Bruce Kuntz if the Dodgers had a successful trade deadline, he's thinking it's the best deadline of all time.
Because he loves the prospects.
Loves those prospects, baby. They may not turn out to be anything, but let's hoard them.
You know what happens to prospects? They become MLB players, and then you don't love them anymore.
Right.
So you move on to the next set of kids.
Right.
All right, Jake. Well, I think I'm just about mentally drained here. So anything else you want to talk about real quick or recap about this trade deadline?
No, I was just looking to see if there was any other buzzer beaters that would make me a little happier, but I guess not.
Yeah, I mean, if you told me we traded Dustin May for Tibbs like as an offseason move, I would have said awesome. You just traded May for a upper half first round pick. At the deadline, though, I don't know if I'm thrilled about that. To be honest.
Wow. Breaking news. Mike Yastrzemski got traded to the Royals.
Yeah. Boring.
Wow, the Royals they're doing stuff. Doing much more than we are.
Yeah, I don't even know if we ever figured out what the Padres gave up for all those Orioles players, but whatever.
Yeah.
They added a catcher today. They added an infielder. They added an outfielder, a first baseman or a DH, a starting pitcher, and one of the best closers in baseball. What did we add? We added a guy that's been tossed around like a wash rag in Brock Stewart and some random scrub named Alex Call. Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't have gotten maybe a little bit better of an outfielder. I mean, I don't understand. I feel like they could have maybe traded for maybe not a top reliever, but I feel like they could have gotten a guy like Griffin Jacks for, not having to part with one of their top guys, right? I mean, what did the Rays give up for him?
Taj Bradley. So he's nothing special. I feel like a comp almost to Taj Bradley would have been giving them Landon Knack and some random prospect, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's why is Knack still here? We don't even use him anymore. I would have rather have had Dennis Santana come back than Brock Stewart. He actually has found something in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
He's actually been good the last 2 years.
Well, I mean, look, here's the deal. We just got to hope that that this roster holds.
Gotta hope. All right. Well, on that note, I guess I'm just gonna be bummed out for the rest of the day, and here's to look into the guys on the team stepping up. So
it sucks not to have a game today. It's like at least that would have helped a little alleviate if the Dodgers were to get a win today, but got to wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. hopefully Bobby Miller comes back and can be a good reliever. Maybe they're banking on that. I'm sure when we talked about it a few days ago, you're probably going to be more right now. They're probably going to announce that they signed Joe Kelly to a 60-day contract or whatever. I'm sure that's their other deadline move they're working out right now is Joe Kelly coming back.
Oh my God. I think you said, like, was Joe Kelly going to be the high leverage arm that they got? And it looks like it could be if they decide to move forward with that.
Yeah. I mean, if his throwing progressions and workouts looked good, I'm expecting it any second now. They're going to say we got Joe Kelly. That's why we didn't trade for an arm. It's because we had Joe Kelly in our back pocket. So.
They're just trusting so many guys that can't be trusted. So I hope it works out.
Yeah,
that's like my headline from this trade deadline. Hope it works. That's my headline. Hope it works out.
Thank you guys for tuning in for an underwhelming deadline special. But hey, hopefully we entertained you a little bit. Any food topics, any pop culture, anything you want to just throw out there for the fans real quick before we say toodles?
No pop culture, but I will say that a movie I was in a couple of years ago called Love and Taxes is going to be shown at the Cobb International Film Festival this weekend in Atlanta, which is where we shot it. So that's pretty exciting. Nice. That's a little personal plug, but other than that, that's all I have to be excited about after today.
Well done. Well done. Nope. I guess I don't have anything either. Root beer sucks, but
oh, come on.
It's terrible.
Root beer does not suck.
Root beer is like the Pedro Baez of drink.
Pedro Baez. Oh my God. Hate that take.
Everyone have a great week ahead. Go Dodgers. Thank you for tuning in. If you're listening on the audio feed, hit that subscribe button. If you're watching on YouTube, drop a comment below and let us know how you feel how the Dodgers did during this trade deadline.